I'm Spencer Linton. We are live in Studio B with your day-to-day BYU sports play-by-play, and it is our pleasure to welcome in once again the voice of the Cougars, live on set, Greg Wrubell, to discuss BYU potentially to a New Year's Six bowl in 2021. We'll get there. But first, Jimmer Fredette, among others, going into the BYU Athletic Hall of Fame. Greg, what's your reaction to Jimmer getting the first ballot Hall of Fame induction 10 years after the fact?
He sneaks in. He just barely sneaks in.
There was one voter that said no.
That was an automatic, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was so automatic.
And everyone else, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because obviously he was going to get in. We just said, hey, Zach Wilson's getting in 2030. Like, and this class is pretty good too. Brian Banks and Kerry Roberts, and just athletically, whenever someone gets into the Hall of Fame every year, I go, oh yeah, they were awesome. It's a pretty fun thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Jimmer Fredette memory?
I think I remember going the most nuts, and I went nuts a few times, right? But I think in Vegas, even though it was a neutral floor, wasn't the Marriott Center Magic, when he passed Danny Ainge for the scoring record and led him over New Mexico, that just kind of felt where everything just kind of peaked and culminated, and it was peak Jimmer, right? And so I think that's one of the favorite nights that I can recall. And there were so many great ones. And when you get to the NCAA tournament and you're advancing there, that's a big deal too. But the focus on him and the numbers he was putting up, and then Danny being in the building and passing, just the whole thing.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty once in a lifetime.
It's wild that he gets the single game and the career on the same play.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
With
and he hadn't shot a free throw until that point.
Yeah, I mean, when you're into the 50s, and it's a tournament game. I mean, it's a win or go home in the tournament, at least, situation.
The retribution against New Mexico.
Yeah, there was a lot going in. So that was one where I just really remember just losing my mind.
Yes, fantastic.
When did you realize that, okay, Jimmer Mania had begun? Because his junior year, we knew he was really good, like very good, and then he comes back. There was a chance he could leave. He came back. At what point were you like, oh my gosh, this is like another level?
It felt like it was early in the next season. I know the Glens Falls trip for me was an indication that, and granted, he was going home, mind you, but it was still it was a unique thing. Like, this was a player getting a homecoming in this college scenario that was being nationally covered, and I just kind of sensed there was something really special building, that this could be something you could really, build a season story around, and it kind of went from there.
That was the weirdest game I've ever been to. Let me tell you why, because I was at the game too. The fans there only rooted for Jimmer and nothing else. There were no cheerleaders. There was no kind of music pumping. It was in an old hockey venue, just down the street from his house. So he would score, and anyone else would score, and it was just like, it was the weirdest game I've been
or Vermont from the neighboring state would score, and nothing would happen.
Nothing.
Right.
It was so weird.
Yeah. Dave Rose told me a fantastic story last week, by the way. He said Vermont's coach approached him after the game and said, I'm still trying to figure out why all these BYU fans were in the beer lines at this hockey venue. And Dave's like, well, these are more Jimmer fans from New York than your typical BYU fans.
That was great.
Great stuff. All right. We're feeling good talking Jimmer. Now it's time to discuss BYU football. 3-0, ranked number 15 in the country. And Brett McMurphy, Mark Schleybaugh, among other national writers,
hold on, I got to grab the
now starting to discuss BYU as a potential New Year's Six recipient in 2021. In fact, we're asking the question today, is this year BYU's best shot at a New Year's Six bowl, or is it at a later date, Greg?
Well, you've only been 3-0 in consecutive years for the first time since 1951 and 52. So BYU's never been in this situation to be in the discussion, let's put it that way. But last year was always going to be, yes, 3-0 or 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, but schedule. That said, if they'd gone 12-0 last year, you would have liked to have seen how that would have challenged the committee to place BYU. It might have been they were left out of the New Year's Six, but it could have been that 12-0 got them in, just for the fact that they cobbled together a schedule, won every game, but Coastal will never know. This year, 3-0, if you get to 4-0, you're in the October discussion. It would have to be the best shot because you're not in the discussion undefeated in October ever. But you would be with a better schedule with 7 P5s on the slate. And there are so much to do but before it becomes a truly legitimate discussion. But, I think Brett McMurphy even qualified it. He says, hey, even 11-1 BYU, he thinks should get in at that point. So you're not having to go 12-0 at that point because of the number of P5s you're playing. Let's say you're in a typical P5 league. You're going to play 8 or 9 P5s.
Yes.
Okay.
And
BYU's
probably one Power 5 in non-conference.
Yeah, and BYU's playing 7. So you're practically playing a P5 schedule.
Yeah.
And so there really isn't that drawback, but it's all about staying in the conversation with the in the L column as long as you possibly can. And it's crazy to think about, too. I mean, this is a storied football program, tremendous history, and never, ever have they been 4-0 in back-to-back seasons. It just doesn't get there.
That's
it doesn't get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Of all the kind of 79 to 85 run and everything,
Yeah.
never did it, which is wild.
Yeah.
But this team has, which is incredible. So
at least 3-0. 4-0, would come Saturday, and that'll be the first time ever.
Ever.
So, yeah.
So we were talking about, okay, when BYU's in the Big 12, to your point, you're allowed a loss or two. BYU actually in the Big 12 could have 2 losses and still make a New Year's 6 or a college football playoff if it expands. So the degree of difficulty gets actually a little lower. It's super high when you have fewer pure P5s. But what is it about this team that you're seeing that we're all trying to figure out? Is like, what's making this team this team? What are you seeing that's different or unique about this group?
Maybe just the multiplicity of options, perhaps, that BYU has on offense right now, beginning with the quarterback himself. He's a pretty special player, and not to discredit the backup, who proved he can come in and win a game for you. So let's just say that at quarterback, in general, they're really well set up.
Yeah.
But and we could use even the fact that Isaac Rex scores his first 2 touchdowns of the season in Game 3. Well, that's not like, oh, BYU finally discovered the tight end again. It's a matter of the tight ends got so much attention from last year that they weren't always open on the plays. But that means that Neil Pau'u's a multiple touchdown scoring guy. Gunnar-Ronnie's a multiple touchdown scoring guy in the first couple games. So they can really go so many places right now. And then Tyler Algier is just kind of the taken for granted, going to get you the hard yards and grind into the end zone when you need it kind of guy that can also win a game for you on defense. So they have all these different options, and I don't think that Aaron Roderick's offense is by anywhere close to its peak, right? I mean, this is still growing and learning and bringing guys along. It's going to get better and better as they get more and more chemistry together, because they're good right now, but they're 27, 28 points a game good. This team has the ability, I think, to be in the 30s points per game good when it gets really going here.
And the Nakuas haven't even gotten going. Honestly, like we
You want-
thought
yeah, you
Puka
wanna
and
talk about
Sampson
more
would be like,
multiplicity
you know what I
and
mean?
Right,
options.
they weren't
Yeah.
able to really hit the ground running because they were kind of held back in camp, right?
Yeah.
But now, so that's a process. Once they get going and really into this thing, I think it's gonna be special.
The BYU defense is holding opponents in 3 games, all Power 5 opponents again, to an average of under 17 points, 16.66667 repeating or whatever we're going to call it.
Thank you, Leroy.
Okay.
Jenkins.
Hey, you're welcome. So looking at the defense, how realistic is that they can sustain that level of holding opponents to 17 or fewer?
Well, I was just tracking it a few minutes ago and posted a tweet about it because I thought it was interesting. You've played 3 straight P5s, and they're all under 17 points or fewer. Okay? When did we start thinking about P5? Like, when did P5 become a thing? Well, you could argue early 2000s. I took it back to 1998 when the BCS started, okay? So from 98 till now, BYU had never, until the first 3 weeks of this season, held 3 straight P5s to 17 points or fewer. So it's historically good that way. If you want to go back to the end of 1983, Missouri, and the first 2 games of 84, Pitt and Baylor, you would technically get 3 current P5s that they held to 17 or fewer, but the P5 didn't exist back then.
Yes.
Pitt was independent, Baylor was Southwest Conference. So as we know the P5, this has never happened, where you play 3 straight high-level P5 teams. You could argue caliber, right? But, Arizona's struggling. But play P5s or P5s. Have 3 straight P5s to 17 points or fewer. It never happened till this year. So they're doing a lot of things that haven't been done before by a historically really solid football program.
That's awesome. And I think BYU broke through this confidence barrier last year. Yes, the schedule was different, but BYU's like, no, we're relevant as an independent. We can do this. And then getting the invite to the Big 12 and doing this now, it's just awesome.
Yeah,
man.
one of the great things is that at the back half of this thing, you're already in the Big 12. Like, you're not having to prove anything to anyone anymore, really.
Yes.
You've already done all the heavy lifting. Now you kind of get to enjoy the fruits of your labors by showing people what you really are and are building to become. And when you get to the Big 12, you have an even greater chance to succeed in that environment.
Well, BYU's next display is against a team they're heavily favored against, USF, coming back to Provo. The vengeance match, as several players have called it. Cougars are a 23-point favorite, but we know that USF's going to have some talent. So what type of challenges will they bring to BYU, even though the Cougars are on paper supposed to win by a good margin?
Yeah, well, they've clearly decided to throw all their eggs in the freshman quarterback basket, and that's great for them in terms of choosing to build. But I think it's also something that BYU can really, if not tee off on, take advantage of. This is a really good defense, and they're playing a guy that's getting his second start, and it's a heavy dose of RPO. But this is, it's a team that's lost, 14 straight FBS games.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a take care of business kind of game for BYU. And the Cougs don't, it's rare that BYU will play an opponent multiple times and not pick up a win. Very few teams have done that to BYU, and I don't think BYU is about to go 0-2 against USF. That said, you've got to play better than you did last week. You simply have to have that be your objective. And there's nothing to worry about. I think offense, defense, and special teams can all show you that there are standouts on this USF team, but as a collective, BYU's just got to go out and put a little bit of a hammer down.
And hey, Jimmer at halftime.
Yeah, Jimmer at halftime.
Yeah.
He is Greg Wrubell, the voice of the Cougars. Thanks for hanging out with us. I hope there are moments this season that make you lose your mind as it relates to BYU football.
Well, we've gotten there. Hey, the Utah game.
Hey, there you
Pretty
go.
good.
There were probably a couple there. And last week, even though it was a different vibe, the way the crowd helped win that game, I thought was pretty special
So
as well.
fun.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for hanging out with us, Greg.
You bet, guys.